You know, everyone loves 𝗪𝗶𝗀𝗪. You know, the reason why they do is because it's always bullish.
Here in Dubai, things are bullish.
How bullish are you?
Max bullish.
Not just bullish, but max bullish.
So why are you so bullish?
So I think that the setup is just perfect.
This special episode is brought to you by 𝗪bank, a centralized crypto exchange offering over 700 trading pairs across 180 countries.
We're here in Dubai covering Token 2049. The last time you saw us on site, we came to you from Hong Kong, but that was before the trade war between the East and the West. Now this trade war is causing havoc on the markets. Let's go inside Token 2049 and find out exactly what people think. Let's go.
Like I said, the last time we were live in real life was on the ground in Hong Kong. That was in February when Trump had just taken office, and since then, what do we have?
Boom.
Well, we have a tariff-induced trade war that has tanked the markets.
They're getting absolutely hammered in China.
But there's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Today, Bitcoin trades above $97,000.
Bitcoin's bounced back big time this week. And maybe, just maybe, if you believe all the bullish headliners here at Token 2049, a massive bull run may be upon us.
And this is how liquidity is pumped into the market.
Token 2049 has emerged as the go-to global conference. Other conferences seem regional, and what a show, what a spectacle it's become. Drawing over 15,000 attendees from all around the world. Also drawing some of the biggest names in the space. Eric Trump and World Liberty Financial.
Guys, our system is broken. Modern finance is absolutely broken.
𝗪𝗏, CZ.
So I think the future is going to be quite decentralized.
Exchanges like OKX, the title sponsor. CoinW, who were just behind our set. 𝗏𝗏𝗡, BigX, and many others. And 𝗏𝗆 and its whale making waves.
But is Bitcoin going to go up?
We'll sit down with a controversial mantra.
And really more importantly, what we're doing about it and what the way forward for mantra looks like.
And check the pulse of the everyday crypto enthusiast on the floor with our man 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝗏 here in Dubai.
What do you think about the market?
I think we're about to see an uptrend.
With over 3 stages to choose from, it's max coverage from all things crypto for 2 days, non-stop. Institutions were here, from Goldman Sachs to BlackRock. A bunch of blockchains in the multi-chain world were here too. Solana, Near, Ripple, and more. And VCs galore looking around for what's next. And the best part of being here was meeting the Banter fam in real life.
Do you remember? I just say, okay.
Thank you. You're going to be so generous.
The energy here, high. Just look up and you'll see a freaking zip line over the conference. You'll see meditation centers, cold plungers, ice baths, coconuts, climbing walls, IV drips, activations, games, contests, and even a drone show to close it out in classic fashion. And what a difference a year makes. Last year when we came here, it was the historic floods disrupting everything. This year, smooth sailing with 𝗪𝗏𝗪 kicking off a banger conference.
As we know, there's quite a lot going on in macro land right now.
And straight after his talk, only Crypto Banter got him in real life to talk to him about his patented banana zone and drive Bitcoin prices higher.
All right, first talk of the day, and we managed to get him hot off the press, hot off the stage. Well, it's the first time we've met actually in person, right? I'm very interested to talk to you because we haven't actually spoken since Trump got into power.
Yeah.
And he's turned the world upside down. And when I say he's turned the world upside down, tariff wars, trade wars. I'm kind of interested to know what you think his agenda is.
I think it's more about taxes, is how do you service the debt, right? If you see everything through the eyes of this massive debt burden, how do you service it? Well, you can tax foreigners via tariffs. That's one way of doing it. Now, are you going to bring factories back to the US? Is it going to be the rise of the blue-collar worker? No, because go to a Tesla factory, there's no humans. It's all robots and AI. So what are you doing? You're giving jobs to robots? I mean, that's the worst possible outcome. So it's not about that. Yes, you get some foreign direct investment in the US, but really it's about how do you service this massive debt load?
So the posturing that China's done is that they're standing fast and they're not going to budge and they want to sit down on a table with the US, but they're only willing to do it when the tariffs disappear. Who's going to collapse first?
So China has tariffs on the US anyway. All people are trying to do is get to some reasonable equalization of tariffs. And really what they're going to get to is some generalized agreement that, okay, these industries, we need a bit more equalization, these ones a bit less, and these ones will be exempt because they're too important to both of us. That's what the outcome will be in the end.
There's a narrative on Twitter, and it's a narrative that's been going around that there's always that the US wants to get the bond rates down, the yields down, and China has been selling some of their treasury holdings to stop them from doing that in what they call financial warfare.
It's the fact that the Chinese currency is so weak, they're having to sell their dollars to defend their own currency.
My next question is, how does this end? And I kind of know what your answer is they print more money, right?
Well, it's already happening. So already, US interest rates are too high for the debt, and so have to keep printing more bonds or creating more debt to pay for the old debt. So who's going to buy those bonds? So what they do is force the banks to do it. So there's something called Basel IV. I think we've spoken on the show about it before. Basel IV is a new kind of globalized system of which the banks hold more treasuries and more European government bonds and more UK government bonds. Then there's the SLR change in the US, which is the US primary dealers holding more bonds.
You mentioned that there's not going to be a recession. You said you don't think we're going to go into a recession.
So for it to be a recession, you need that over 2 quarters.
Quarter one, the Atlanta Fed is forecasting -2.
And the forward-looking indicators of liquidity have been doing this since. So they're flooding the system with liquidity. Liquidity leads growth. So I think it's a 1.5 quarter affair before the economic indicators start turning up. So I don't think it'll be a recession. I think it's a air pocket in growth.
So I want to talk to you about the M2 money supply chart, because I think you started the banana zone, and I think now you're becoming the M2 money supply guy.
It's the same thing. Because don't forget, what does it show? Phase 2 of the banana zone. The M2 money supply, the global money supply, which is a proxy for total global liquidity, is just going higher. And what is driving that? The weakness of the dollar.
So I was about to say, is it real M2 money supply growth if it's just the dollar depreciating 10% against every other currency that makes up the M2?
Yeah, so that's the biggest factor. Then M2 growth is growing. US growth is positive. China's been positive. You know, M2 growth is growing everywhere anyway, outside of dollar M2.
But wait, take me back one step. Yeah. So if the M2 money supply looks like it's growing, but it's actually because the dollar is devaluing.
No, but if you look at it in local currencies, they're all rising now.
So it's all rising, but not as much.
Exactly, and the dollar is the accelerant.
Okay.
Because the dollar is the liquidity for the entire financial system. So the weaker the dollar is, the easier it is to get hold of dollars, the easier it is to service your dollar debts, all of this works. So that's what's really happening, and that trend won't stop for a while.
So what do you think the markets are waiting for before we go into accelerate mode? Or do you think we've already hit accelerate mode?
I think we've started the accelerate mode. I think we hit the bottom, it's been following that M2 chart. Expect that chart to fall apart after a while when everybody's following it. But we should now just rise the wall of liquidity going forwards. And that should be all the way until the end of the year, at least, and we think into Q1, Q2. And it doesn't seem to stop, which was an exact replay of 2017 and Trump. Same thing happened. The weaker dollar, the whole thing, M2, the whole thing is identical. And what we got was a ripper of a crypto bull market.
So, you know, when I walked into your talk, I had my dad with me and I said, you know, everyone loves Rawalpol. You know, the reason why they do is because it's always bullish. And here you are, always bullish.
Because they're always printing money.
You're always printing money. Brother, so good to finally meet you face to face.
Good to see you, my friend.
And good to see you. Thank you very much. Guys, that's Rawalpol, and obviously he's always bullish. That's why we all love him.
Who's also bullish? Well, this guy, riding in style on the ultra impressive zipline, 𝗤𝗨. I mean, come on, what other conference has a zipline? Let's talk to Arthur and find out why he's so bullish.
Another person that certainly needs no introduction to anyone on the channel and everyone else here. No introduction necessary to Arthur with us again. Arthur, good to see you, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
It looks very bullish here, right? And you spoke on the stage and you were bullish. So why are you so bullish?
So I think that the setup is just perfect for rally and risk assets, just like we saw from third quarter 2022 until early 2025. We have a similar setup today. We have a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt in the markets, and the authorities, the monetary authorities, especially in America, cannot handle that. And so they're going to resort to money printing.
But there's not enough fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I mean, nothing's broken yet. So surely they're not going to intervene yet.
Well, something broke. Something broke on April 9th, and the move index hit 172 intraday. There were people blowing up. Basis trades were going nuts. Hedge funds were getting stopped out. Jamie Dimon gets on CNBC talking about the markets are in trouble. Trump walks back tariffs the next day, 90-day pause, all that. Besson gets on TV a few days later, talks about how he's got buybacks to make sure that the treasury market is well functioning. I think people are getting a bit too scared that, I want to see the Fed cut. I want to see the Fed do QE. That's 2008 to 2019. We're in a different situation. This is all about the Treasury. Janet Yellen printed $2.5 trillion from 2022 to 2025. Bitcoin went up 6x. Vested has to do something similar. And so that's why I think April 9th was the bottom, and we're going to go much higher from here.
Yeah, we talked about the trade wars. So right now it's become a war between China and the United States. How does it end?
There's going to be two financial systems, US-centric one, China-centric one. There's going to be two trade spheres, US-centric one, Chinese-centric one. And so we're bifurcating the world. And it's very inflationary because China and its nearly 100 millions of workers and its very efficient manufacturing base was the reason why developed market inflation was so low from the early 2000s until the present. And now, for reasons, they want to separate. And we're going to take all the supply chains and move them from China to US.
Do you buy into the thesis that Trump wants to reduce the 10-year Treasury yield, the rates, and China at the same time is dumping debt into the market to stop him from being able to bring down the interest rates?
I don't think China is dumping Treasury debt because, number one, I think that would really escalate things beyond where things are today. If China was actively selling Treasuries, they can always sanction China and pretty much freeze our entire banking system if they started to do that. So, as much as it sucks that China has, almost $1 trillion of treasuries, that's what happens when you lend so much money. That's now your problem, right? So they can't get out of the trade. They'll let it mature, but they will not be dumping treasuries because the U.S. can easily freeze all their money.
Like on the gauge of bullishness, 0 to 10, how bullish are you now? Like to start buying?
10.
10. You're deploying all in?
We're all in.
And alts also?
Not yet. Bitcoin is, I think Bitcoin dominance goes to 70%-ish. Bitcoin goes to 150, some level, somewhere around there, 1,000. And then we start to get the rotation into altcoins.
Still bullish ETH?
Yes.
Still bullish Solana?
Yes.
ETH or Solana, which one?
I think if I had a fresh unit of fiat capital, I think ETH performs better than Solana on this next round.
ETH performs better than Solana?
Correct.
Tell me why?
Because it's the hated asset. And if the price starts performing well, all of a sudden all the things that make ETH are great. It's very secure. Highest, most amount of value on a proof of stake. Most amount of developers. Highest amount of TVL locked up on DeFi applications.
Solana, what's the next one you'd put your money on if you had a fresh unit of fiat?
𝗖𝗵𝗶.
𝗖𝗵𝗶, tell me why.
So they have just launched a card. Let me pull it out here. Now, look at this. 𝗖𝗵𝗶 Platinum Visa card. I can spend stables. I can borrow against my staked ETH. All these sorts of things. I think 𝗖𝗵𝗶 is building the American Express of DeFi, right?
Holy shit.
Do you want to be long American Express?
I want to be long.
Where rich people spend money. Rich crypto people are going to spend money on their 𝗖𝗵𝗶 card, and they have committed to taking a certain percentage of that revenue and buying back their token and distributing it to stake 𝗖𝗵𝗶. So I think it's that's one of our bets right now. And yeah, I'm an advisor on that one.
See you tomorrow at your party.
It's going to be lit.
We always cover his party, and I'm kind of glad that it's on my last night here so I can sleep on the plane the next day.
Exactly.
Yeah. Brother, see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Ciao, bro.
And here you see it. Arthur's party is always, like him, legendary. Now, I could go on about the 300 plus parties and events across Dubai, but for today, let's just keep it all about business and bullish. Enter Joe McCann, one of the smartest voices in institutional capital, who's, well, max bullish.
So when we spoke to Arthur, what he said is he's very, very bullish. In fact, he was the most bullish that he's been in a long time. I wonder if Joe's that bullish. How bullish are you?
Max bullish. We had basically this risk asset washout based on trade policy uncertainty, which is now that trade policy uncertainty has peaked. We are now kind of coming off of that and you're seeing risk rise. But more importantly, they're going to have to actually flood the markets with more liquidity. There's really no other solution. And of course, we know that Bitcoin and crypto benefit the most from that.
So do you think, there is still a trade war between China and the US. That China's standing fast, the US is standing fast. Do you think that the worst is over?
China PMI data came out and it actually contracted over the past month. That's not good. 40% of China's GDP is export driven. And if they're shutting down factories and laying off workers, eventually that could lead to social unrest in China, which is China's biggest fear, is to have a level of social unrest that they can't control. So what are the alternatives there? One, well, they could actually stimulate demand internally by flooding the market with cheap liquidity, maybe making loans more easily to obtain, et cetera, et cetera. Or two, doing some sort of compromise with the Trump administration. So India is cutting a big deal right now. Japan is cutting a deal right now. They're loosening things on autos for Canada and Mexico. That's supporting Canada and Mexico. That was not the case on April 2nd. We're going to see more of this. And I do want to call out that the 90-day pause ends right around July 4th, which is Independence Day in the United States. You cannot think for a second that they're not scripting all of this for TV. They absolutely are. And when they get these trade deals done, you want to be invested ahead of that.
All right, so we know it's going up. What are we buying?
Well,
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, obviously. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. You know this. I've been on your show saying this. When the ETFs came out for Bitcoin, I basically was like, Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to go higher for a very long time because I think a lot of people in crypto, especially retail crypto traders, don't understand the magnitude of institutional flows, okay? As these institutional flows come in, they're not going to Ethereum because people can't understand what Ethereum is. It goes into Bitcoin. And as more and more of those flows go into Bitcoin, you have to be overweight Bitcoin, period. Now,
Bitcoin.
Yeah, so Bitcoin, we're short ETH. I see no reason to own it. We have it as a hedge in our portfolio. Fundamentally, I've been saying this for years now, there is no reason to own the asset. The technology itself was like the BlackBerry of smart contract platforms. There's better L1s out there. Obviously, I'm a Solana bull, but there's better L1s out there that bring real utility and use cases for mass adoption versus Ethereum.
All right, what else?
I like Solana, of course. Fundamentals are crushing it. They are 2/3 of all blockchain activity across every network, even in the slowdown that we've had over the past few months.
What else?
And I do think, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm admitting this, I think Ripple is actually a good trade. I know. Now listen, you ask me as a trader or an investor, where do I think there's upside? Part of the reason is, remember, I run a fund. Ripple is one of the most liquid assets out there.
I can't believe what I've just heard, but you heard it from the man himself. Joe, it's so good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too.
You know, I keep saying here, people like you. And you know why people like you? Because you're always bullish, bro.
Thank you.
Ciao,
Good stuff. All right.
Let's break from the bullishness, take a look around the conference, hit outside from all the activations, and cross over the bridge to the Binance Clubhouse. There's signature side soiree across the street with a packed house to see the legend 𝗖𝗙 talk all things macro.
But I just try to observe what's hot and try to follow.
And to talk all things Binance, we went behind the scenes to sit down exclusively with Richard Ting, the new hand-picked successor and CEO.
I managed to steal 15 minutes with Richard. I think you guys all know Richard. Richard, how's life, man? You've been around for 16 months now at the helm of Binance. How's life?
Life is good, very hectic. We continue to push forth to build the best-in-class platform for our users, and we have seen very, very strong growth globally. So we're very thankful for all the support and confidence of our users.
So I really want to understand the journey. So before you got to Binance, what did you do before Binance?
I was pretty much a financial services regulator almost all my life. But I got to know crypto right about 2017. And the more I understood crypto, and I really believe it's going to be the future of finance at that point in time, and my hypothesis is that crypto needs two elements to go mainstream. The first element, you need clear regulations. Right? Without clear regulations, you can get the early adopters in, but after the next 5%, after the first 5%, the next 5, the next 10, those people may not understand it as well, and they need a framework for them to understand, to have user protection, etc. The second element is institutional adoption, because crypto used to be very retail-based. We saw that in 2024, finally, with the approval of ETF in the US, all the institutions from Fidelity to BlackRock to Charles Schwab all starting to embrace this space, so it's exciting.
So when you walked into Binance, it was one thing, and I'm sure you had a big set of focuses. What were your focuses for the first 16 months? And I'm going to ask you what your focus is now.
So my focus has not changed, right? So when I became CEO, I said that my priority are threefold. Firstly is to really build the best platform out there to serve our users in terms of security, in terms of compliance, in terms of product features, give the users what they want. And I think users have continued to repay that confidence in us, right? So and if you look at user numbers, they have continued to grow from strength to strength. We started 2024 with 170 million users, ended the year with 240 million users. Today we are north of 270. So in the course of 15 months, we added more than 100 million users, right? So that's a big testament from users. Secondly, working with global regulators to really support the development of this sector, crypto adoption. We are now the most regulated exchange globally. We are regulated in 21 different jurisdictions, right? So, and last year we have onboarded, we have seen a huge surge in terms of institutional onboarding on our platform. So 97% increase last year.
Wow.
This year, for the first quarter, the growth number are still very robust, right? So it's better than the fourth quarter of last year.
The new customers you're saying are mainly led by institutions?
Yeah, there's a good mix of institutions and retail, but there's so much more institutions in this business now, right? So they come from all over, from sovereign wealth funds to high net worth individuals to family office to traditional trading firms that now add crypto.
What, I mean, I know you probably don't have the number handy, but what percentage of institutional traders right now have ventured outside of Bitcoin?
Well, I don't have those figures. I'm quite interested, but I think the figure is still small.
Small,
because
under 10, under 20, under
definitely
50?
under 10. Because
under 10.
If you think about it, most of the institutions, their due diligence process is very long, right? So first they have to convince their board of directors. You need a strategy. They will think about it.
How much interest are you guys getting from nation states, from sovereign wealth funds, from?
Plenty.
Plenty.
So I do think that, you know, with the election of President Trump, towards the end of last year being the pro-crypto president, and you know, the US is the largest capital markets in the world, I think that changed the narrative substantially, right? After he's elected, we get a lot more approaches by different governments to say, hey, if President Trump is investing big time and has appointed an AI and crypto czar in the US, that demonstrates that these are the most two important foundational technology of the future. In our view, this region, I mean, UAE is a very forward-looking country. It has always been very forward-thinking. I mean, if you look at AI, blockchain, they are ahead of the curve compared to many other countries. So we're going to see a lot more convergence between finance, crypto, AI. That would be the future.
Richard, so good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys, we're going to shoot back to Token 2049 because there's lots to cover there.
We shot back across the bridge, under the zip line overhead, past all the big sponsor stands, through the crowds that were literally non-stop, and back to our set to start taking deeper dives to look for narratives that we should be looking out for.
Yeah, I know you've heard this before, but there are some people that are still bullish on gaming. And Off the Grid launched, probably at the worst time, no gaming run, but you're still bullish. Tell me why.
Yeah, so first of all, when you take a look at gaming as a broad sentiment, the reason why gaming hasn't had a good run isn't because of utility. Right now, we have something like 7 million daily active players playing Web3 games. That's 7 times higher than it was 3 years ago, and about 100 million registered users, so that's not bad. But we have to understand that tokens are more than just utility. Something like 70 or 80% of the tokens are there for market pricing. They're speculative in nature, and they give us information about resources, kind of like a commodity or a stock, right? Which means the macro of gaming is affecting the token prices, not the games in and of itself, right? So I'll give you an example. Last year, what was really hot? AI. AI tokens do really well, but how many people are actually using the AI tools, you know, on platforms? Hardly any in comparison, right? And the reason why we are so bullish about sort of second half year in terms of gaming and how it's going to affect gaming tokens is because of Nintendo Switch 2, the launch of Mario Kart, and the biggest one, Grand Theft Auto.
I think there's going to be a macro gaming shift. Is it
Absolutely, macro gaming shift which will flow straight into Web3 because tokens have this mimetic quality where they basically follow what's happening in the macro market as well.
Who will be the custodians of that in the crypto world? Who will be the beneficiaries of that?
Basically the majors or strong fundamental projects, right? So strong fundamental. So, I mean, we can quote our portfolio, right? But we're very bullish on 𝗥ซี้∞ as a result, on things happening in Ronin, obviously bullish on things like Sand. You know, we do like Godzilla a lot. I mean, we're investors. I think the point is they did launch at a very tough time, but they would benefit from the narrative of gaming. Even smaller titles like Cross the Ages and so on.
Are you macro bullish? I know you're bullish macro gaming, but are you bullish on the macro environment?
I'm bullish on macro too, for a whole bunch of reasons, because particularly crypto is basically, to me, the way that you deal with these uncertainties. I have to remind people all the time, crypto is not affected by tariffs directly. right? There is, of course, a macro sentiment issue, but at the end of the day, you're not, some Chinese dude sends Bitcoin over to America. He doesn't get tariffed on that, right?
Maybe that's the one fair trade that's not getting tariffed at the moment.
Exactly, and so the point is that kind of exchange you don't have to worry about. There's going to be all this new stablecoins issued in America. We have our own stablecoin with Standard Chartered in Hong Kong. That's going to onboard masses into the space. So generally speaking, very positive.
Generally up and to the right.
Generally up and to the right. You'll hear me say this all the time, but the thing is, you just again draw the chart over the last 5 years and it looks very positive. But again, gaming will have its moment because of these two things, and it's going to really, really shake up the space, and that's why we're bullish. But basically, opportunity to go for liquids.
I had Arthur Hayes on here, and I had 𝗪𝗏𝗪, and now I've had you. And I think you guys must be the 3 most liked figures in crypto. And why? Because you're always bullish.
So that's more bullishness leading us right into our break.
So good.
Stay tuned for our man 𝗕𝗏 taking to the floor, talking to real traders and builders, and gauging the sentiment on the ground. I'll be doing a live sit-down with the hotly debated mantra, and now a word from our sponsor, 𝗪bank. 𝗪bank was founded in 2015, and it's a centralized exchange offering trading for 700 plus tokens in 180 plus countries. It supports spot, margin, and futures trading with up to 200x leverage. It also has staking, peer-to-peer, and a whole lot more. KYC is optional but required for full access. 𝗪bank supports over 131 fiat currencies with multiple payment methods like Visa, MasterCard, and bank transfers. We're back on the floor here at Token 2049, the preeminent global conference that has become the place to be, the biggest spectacle and the biggest stage for the world's crypto speakers. Taking our tour, we run into 𝗪bank, our sponsors for this special episode.
Alrighty, we're here with our sponsor. These are the guys that bring us the coverage here of Token 2049, 𝗪bank. Guys, thank you for sponsoring us here. Tell us a little bit about 𝗪bank, the exchange.
Yeah, thank you so much for this. And 𝗪bank is a global centralized exchange. And yeah, we are based in different global regions and also in Dubai. And we have like more than 800 tokens, and we are the top centralized exchange. And I'm the event manager. We have been frequently doing events in this region and globally as well.
If I'm trading on one of the other exchanges, why should I go to 𝗪bank?
𝗪bank is one of the best if you want to trade the memes, specifically meme coins.
Lots of trade volume, lots of liquidity?
Yeah. In the coin market cap, we are in top 17 number ranking, and we are going every day. We are doing events in different regions as well. Really excited for the Token 2049, and looking forward to the other events as well.
Amazing. Brother, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys, these are our partners that bring us this coverage. They've partnered us at school. You may see them on some of the shows. Give them some love, give them some support.
Also supporting here at Token 2049 is our man 𝗕𝗏, in from the live stream to check in on the floor and to tell us what's really going on with traders, builders, and everyone else. 𝗕𝗏, take it away, bro.
Thanks, Ryan. We're out here right in front of Eric Trump's speech at Token. And if you see, there is a line of security behind me. It's absolutely crazy. No one can come out, no one can go in. So I thought we're just going to go around and find someone, what they think about the conference and what the vibe is about. So come. Hi. What do you think about the conference?
It's very good. Very good.
You enjoy yourself?
Yeah, enjoying right now.
What do you think about the market?
I think maybe it's a bull run.
What do you think about the market?
It's a little stagnant right now, but I think we're about to see an uptrend though.
I think it's going to rip. Honestly, I think the market now is starting to recover.
It's like always, up and down.
I'm really excited. I've been bullish for a very long time. I think we just ticked bullish out of the downtrend. I think we're starting to see the uptrend now, and it's going to be a fantastic year.
Everyone is bullish. We interviewed Arthur Hayes today. He said Bitcoin is going to 200K almost this year. So I'm also very bullish.
AI is a narrative, so I think the merge of Web3 and AI is the current cycle.
I think I'm bullish. I think it's the market will boom. I would hope in Q3, Q4.
What does that mean?
We're at Token 2049 and 𝗪's not even Token 2049, so that's a little bit of a problem.
Market's flat. I was expecting a bit more bullish. 12 months going up, of course.
What is really exciting you in the next 6 months in crypto?
I think I'm looking for the projects that actually have adoption, right? A lot of the problems in the industry right now is that actually people don't really use the product. It's a very small circle. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing projects that are coming out that actually have real users.
So you guys also work on distributed networks and bringing people in through Deepen. How do you solve adoption?
We have a new economic model to incentivize people to put infrastructure. Half the world is unconnected, so that was our first target market. The other half the world is exploited. Right now, heading over 2 million users, about to launch main chain in the next 2 to 3 weeks as well, so that's very exciting for us.
What do you think about the conference?
Amazing one. I was just listening to Eric Trump.
It's so crowded, you know, many people, and it's just like hard to manage everything.
It feels like triple the amount of people, triple amount of good conversations.
The statement from Eric Trump, from Justin Sun, just ring the beginning of a new crazy, a revolutionary era.
Everyone should come at least one token in their life.
So what do you guys do in the space?
So I'm co-founder of 𝗥𝗚𝗄𝗪. 𝗥𝗚𝗪 solves a problem of fragmentation in the space. Now with the emergence of AI and how easy it is to launch new layer 2s, we envision that there's going to be more than 1 billion chains in the next 10 years. And if we want to onboard the next billion users to the space, we need seamless user experience.
How do you guys solve this and why are you better than anybody else?
So 𝗥𝗚𝗪 is offering interoperability technology that enables users to easily navigate the cross-chain ecosystem. So the way we envision the future is that the user will have a single interface. Under the hood, 𝗥𝗚𝗪 is going to offer the technology, the infrastructure that will facilitate this cross-chain communication, so the user doesn't have to think about different wallets, about different chains, just assets and applications.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. What do you do in the space?
I have a YouTube channel.
I work with Ledger, so secure self-custody today.
And you guys have the cold plunges outside when we tried, so.
We have the cold plunge outside because we're doing a collaboration with Punchy Penguins. So
Yeah.
it's ice outside, cold hardware inside, and that's how you stay cool.
Oh, these are cool people. Tell us short, what do you guys do?
Tokenized real estate. So RWAs in general, but focused on real estate initially.
How do you see RWAs evolving in the next 6 to 12 to 18 months?
Well, we're starting in Zanzibar, so I think it starts with sovereignty from the top down. So we're working with the government, similar to 𝗖𝗄𝗪 or ADGM here, being able to have a framework for real assets, starting with land and then gold and then others.
How do you see the market evolving? How do you see the industry in the next 6 to 12 months?
Oh, in general, I think it's I'm bullish. Like I'm being able to see that on-chain to connect to value in real time. It's unprecedented.
What do you think about the market?
I didn't look at it, but we can smell that the green is coming.
Now Eric Trump is speaking, so probably the market is pumping.
Bullish summer.
Bullish summer.
Bullish short term.
All-time highs in this year?
Yeah, but earlier than most people are thinking.
Thanks, 𝗙𝗏𝗏. For a more sobering look at the ups and downs in the industry, we're talking to JP from Mantra. We had him on our show from Hong Kong previously, but since then, as you know, things have taken a turn for the worse.
All right, here's someone that needs no introduction. You all know him because we've spoken to him before. He's the founder of Mantra, and Mantra's been through a hard time. I would have thought you would have maybe kept a low profile than walked into the biggest crypto event out there.
Absolutely not. I mean, just like we did in the wake of the incident, being front and center is incredibly important. And I just got off stage talking about what happened and really more importantly what we're doing about it and what the way forward for Mantra looks like.
So look, we can't change the past.
Exactly.
We can learn from it.
Exactly.
What are we doing going forward? What's the route forward?
So I think we're doubling down on commitment to transparency. We put out this dashboard that has real-time monitoring of all tokens. We welcome community feedback on how we can improve upon that, so we can see bridge flows, exchange inflows, all different types of on-chain information. Honestly, just getting back to building, right? We launched our EVM testnet, which we haven't told anyone about yet, 2 weeks ago in the midst of all this crisis. So, shipping product, bringing assets on chain, bringing new TVL, RWA deals. This is something that is kind of our bread and butter, and we need to focus on building and shipping now more than ever.
But what about the tokens? I mean, we don't really know what the story is.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people, or one person, or somebody, or got liquidated.
Yeah.
That means there's a lot of tokens out there in the market. Is there like a plan to get those tokens out of the way?
Yeah, so we've been in contact. Well, first off, we do believe that there is some supply sitting on different venues that we've been working on getting back with both ourselves as well as our institutional partners. So we've been working on how we can bring that back off the market in an orderly fashion. That's really, really important.
One of the things that this reminds me of is Solana.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the Solana incident, you had one big investor, which was 𝗵𝗶 FTX.
Yeah.
They were liquidated. They took the price of Solana down to $8.
Yeah.
And then no one believed in Solana at $8, and then there was a recovery.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a parallel here? Do you feel that? Are you following the same playbook?
I would say so. I mean, to be honest, any of these major projects have had their ups and downs. Or projects or tokens. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they've all had their incidents. Solana, obviously, the most recent example. We do feel like following that playbook, getting back to building, shipping, heads down, showing, not just telling is critically important here. So, we're in public here at Token, and frankly, after that, we're going to be just building and back in the lab, basically.
Brother, so good to see you.
Thank you.
Well handled.
Appreciate it, man.
Let's talk again soon, and if not soon, then definitely at Token 2049 in Singapore.
Absolutely, we'll be there.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Let's hope that by September in Singapore, things really turn around. Also needing a turnaround, it seems, is ETH. We managed to find a big ETH OG and the founder of Synthetix, who thinks that ETH has actually bottomed, and it may only be up from here.
You all know I've pretty much given up faith in ETH. I've given up all hope. I was bullish, I watched the chart go down and down and down, and I pretty much gave up hope. That's what you were talking about on stage. You were talking about the existential crisis in ETH.
Yes.
Can it be resolved?
It can. It can. I think ETH can make a comeback.
Tell me how or why.
So I think we're at a moment now where people have realized that the roll-up centric roadmap has not worked. Right? And so the question is, are we pivoting away from that? And I think the reality is that there is now momentum towards scaling L1. And if we scale L1, Ethereum can become competitive again.
But if you're going to scale the L1, why not just go to Solana?
Well, it's a question of individual developers, right? What does an individual developer do? And there are still an order of magnitude or more Solidity engineers than there are Rust engineers, right? And so the developer ecosystem in Ethereum is much bigger, and there is a high cost to moving to Solana if you're already in the Ethereum ecosystem.
How long would it take to make ETH a competitive L1?
I think to get L1 competitive, you need to bring some applications back to it. Synthetix, the project that I founded, is going to come back to the L1. We were the first ones to go to Optimism in 2019. We're coming back. So that is going to create block space demand on L1 directly as opposed to indirectly through blob space.
So why abandon the L2 roadmap?
I think for me there's two things that failed. One is we created an environment where it's unclear to an investor which token to buy. Do you buy Arbitrum? Do you buy Optimism? Do you buy some coin token on base? It's not obvious, right? The second thing is that we've created an issue of block space where the margin for block production is being captured by L2s, not the L1. So we need to bring activity back to L1 to increase the margin that block production is generating for Ethereum.
But when you bring the people back to the L1, the L1's still going to be slow?
No, it's actually much faster than it was. It's much faster than it was, and there's a very clear path to scaling it. We can raise the block size. There's a number of things that we can do, and we also have just better technology. We have like off-chain batch settlement. It's not the same network that it was in 2019. It's gotten better.
What's your views on the leadership? Is Vitalik still the?
I think that Vitalik is still the leader. What has happened though is there has been some questioning of the methods and approach that Vitalik has taken by a lot of people in the community, and what I talk about on stage is this tension between the DeFi people and the kind of flowers and rainbows side of Ethereum, right? And that tension has been dominated by the Vitalik wing, which has been not as DeFi-centric, not focused on DeFi, but DeFi has been the thing that's been driving activity. It's Ethereum. DeFi is Ethereum, right? And so last year, a lot of DeFi founders, including myself, turned up and said, you need to care about DeFi, and Vitalik responded to that. And so I think we've seen this kind of reintegration of these two sides of Ethereum and this realization that DeFi is driving activity on Ethereum and we need to support it.
You think it's the end of the ETH BTC chart going down?
I think we're close to the bottom.
You're close to the bottom?
I think we're close to the bottom.
ETH BTC?
Yeah.
𝗖𝗙, what do you think?
𝗖𝗙, I don't think so, because I think 𝗙 has too much momentum right now. It's going to take a lot for people to be convinced that Ethereum is regaining its momentum. It's not going to happen in a day.
Amazing. Kane, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great insights.
Thank you very much.
For some other hopium, let's end on the floor with 𝗏𝗏 and a special appearance from our correspondent Rebecca to bring some levity and laughs here at Token 2049.
I think there's a guy called 𝗏𝗏. I've been seeing him walking around. Seems like a good guy, bro.
Let's go. And I will also make some stupid shit. Over our right side. Yeah, thank you. Come to my right side. All right. Oh, that's so cool. I'm actually gonna put this on. And other than the fact walking around with these plush things, what do you do in the space?
I talk about crypto and the markets and news on TikTok. My handle is 𝗕𝗶𝘀𝗶𝗰.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check her out. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Oh, you're sorry.
How's it going, man?
Hi, bro.
You good?
Perfect. All right, pleasure. Hi, pleasure. Come, let's do an interview. It's gonna be snippets.
Hello, Panther fan.
What do you do in the space?
DJ, bro, all day in the trenches.
Can I have a photo with you?
Oh yeah, you can. Hey.
I'm a fan. Really, an interview. Okay.
You watched the show?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Like 5-6 years.
Panther fan, hello, nice to see you again.
You guys are crushing it. I saw your stand back there. You're interviewing like 𝗪𝗁𝗪𝗧𝗪, 𝗪𝗁𝗪𝗪, all the big guys. So.
Hold on a second. What do you think about the conference?
Good, I love it. A lot of people.
What do you mean camels? We're getting some camels. Oh, camel! I thought like a camel. I was like, but this is cool. I'll come back for it. Just trying to find like KOLs or. We need some ladies. It's a bit of a sausage party so far. So, can I ask you a few questions, ladies? Crypto Mentor. You got to run.
Very busy doing interviews that she's trying to skip so badly.
No, come on.
All right, and how are you enjoying the conference? Okay, seems like it's yes, good. And then what's gonna happen? Is Bitcoin gonna go up? Yes. Oh, thank you. Can you hear us? You must be so hot. All right, we're good.
What do you think about the market?
The market now or the market yesterday?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Can I work with 𝗏𝗏 vodka?
Cool.
Yeah.
𝗏𝗏 vodka is here to take over?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, when can we taste it?
Tonight.
Done.
Cheers.
Done. Cool.
How was yesterday?
Difficult. A little bit of like, you know. Did you recover yesterday?
I am still recovering, yeah.
So now we continue. What do you do in the space?
I make the food here at the event. I make the hummus.
Should we try some tea? Is that tea? Let's try some tea. Thank you so much. What do you think about the conference? Thank you very much. Nothing better than some Arabic coffee from a plastic cup. Wow. Look at this. Look at this. Sorry. Oh, you guys. So good. Let's see what else we have here, bro. I'm gonna take one of these. I'm actually taking two, just in case. Oh, let's see if we can find someone here. Watch out. Yes? Yes. Oh, you want to have a chat with me? Yeah, sure. No, brother. Always, anytime. What do you think about the conference?
Today's been my birthday and the best birthday I've ever had.
Birthday?
Yeah, because, you know what? I've had a great lecture from our Bitcoin masters. You know?
What do you think about the market?
I think it will make the world grow.
Do you do anything in crypto?
I'm going to try. I think I'll try because before I had no idea.
It's so cool, you see? It's so cool, so cool. It's a crypto conference. The security guy walks up and he wants to talk. It's so cool. This is the proper crypto conference. Okay, let's go. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, I think that's it. Cool, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank
Cheers.
you. Cool. I'll catch you, and I'll come back for one of these camels. Cheers, bro.
Thank
Always
you,
nice seeing you.
Thank you very much.
Always nice seeing you. Are you good?
Caught me off guard, like on a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
things.
good. Cheers, brother. Have a good day. Thank you too. Ciao, ciao.
And that's a wrap here from Token 2049, the global gathering that brings together the best in the space year after year, conference after conference. We've heard about max bullishness from all the OGs, and here's to hoping that the markets respond exactly as they predicted. On Monday, I'll be back at the studio, and I'll be bringing you the daily live streams like no other channel can. Until then, trade well, my friends.
Let's go, 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗪 family, yeah!
Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe now to the channel. It's the place to meet, the place to learn, and the place to see what's happening on the market with clear mind, like their boss minds.